This is our first joint AMA. Okay, we've got some nice numbers here, and yeah, very good. We're on 6:35. We're gonna start up. So good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for joining me. It's one of a privilege for me to be able to speak to all of you. My name is Sam Tan. I'm a director also of Blocktrade SA, and now recently I've been appointed as a executive board member or executive of ESYNC Network, or the People's SCE, which is the main which is the developer of ESYNC. Of course, ESYNC Network and eCredits, it's a decentralized system, so there's no owner, so to speak. So what it is that the People's SCE is really the guide for this project, and has developed the software and the systems around it. The format of today, I think, it's going to be a slightly different kind of thing than perhaps some of the other AMAs or things that I've done, with a lot of presentation and discussion about future roadmaps and things like that. And the reason being that I'm new to this project. I'm trying to get to know the community. I'm trying to get to know what are things that I can do to help this project, and to see what feedback we can get, so that we can build something that is really what people are hoping for, not just another pump or another set of situations like that. So this is really important, because I think that ESYNC and eCredits is really community driven. We have a really, really large community here, and from lots of different places. So this is an opportunity for me just to introduce the project as I know it. Talk a little bit about some of the things that I would like to see happen in the project, and some of the things that could potentially happen. Talk a little bit about what I see with Blocktrade and ESYNC working closer together. And the reason why I am in the People's SCE is because as a director also of Blocktrade, that I wrote to the SCE, and this we felt that there's a really good opportunity for us and a synergy for us to work together on this. Later there definitely will be a Q&A session, and in the Q&A session you can press the Q&A button that is at the top there, and you'll have the opportunity to ask some questions. I must preface this though, that the questions that I will be able to answer will be those that are more related to my vision or what I see going forward from here. If there are any particular technical questions, and especially questions with regards to things that may have happened in the past, or how this things occurred, it's going to be a little bit harder for me to answer those questions at this point, mainly because again, I'm becoming accustomed to the ESYNC network, the history, the players, and everything else that have been involved. Although, like as in other sessions that I've been involved in, I'm always happy to listen, to give as much feedback and answer your questions as much as I possibly can. So please feel free to use that in the later part of our session, and I'll try my best to answer everything that is posed to me. So officially, it's only been the last couple of weeks that I've joined the executive board of the People's SCE. And for those of you that don't know, the People's SCE was set up to hold the IP, being all the software, wallets, the systems that you use that are available there to access ESYNC network, and also to transact in eCredits. And at the same time, it's almost like a foundation, as you might find in other crypto projects, whereby it has a treasury, and its job is to promote and develop the network. So in this particular case, the previous executive, which is Sally. Um, she she has passed the reins over to me, which is a privilege and an honor for me in the sense that this is a opportunity to make my mark on this particular project, and also to see how we can create something that is really exponential or something bigger than purely just a blockchain, but also with the integrations with the Blocktrade network, future financial group, and what we plan to do in the future. And I think that's really what we're focusing on here. So we've got a nice, really healthy number of people joining us in this AMA now, and I really want to thank you all for taking the time to do this. So I'm just going to go through a very short presentation that I'm going to just recap what the ESYNC network was when it was presented to me and how I joined on there, and just give a little bit of my thoughts on each part of it. And then I'll speak a little bit more. I'm sorry if you're going to get tired of hearing my voice. But after this, when we release the recorded version, you can just read the captions. If you're really, really sick of it, what you can do is you can just put the video to your favorite AI and just get the summary. Okay. So in saying that, in future, I think it's going to be something that's interesting for us. We're going to release um, uh, AI for the community, so you can ask some questions of it. I don't know if I'll put my face on the AI. I'm not sure if that's going to be a nice thing, but definitely, we'll set it up so that you can ask some questions. We'll put in all the information that we have so that you can get that part of it done. Because, in theory, ESYNC network doesn't have like a support team as such. It's, community driven. One of the interesting things that might happen with the integration with Blocktrade, if that's what's going to happen going forward, is that then we'll have a support team purely focused on that. Okay, so without further too much, I'll jump into the slides. So here we have the first part. Hopefully everyone can see this and there's no problems with my presentations. There'll be no videos in this time, so we're not going to be just looking at videos without sound. I apologize for that previously, but those issues have been fixed. I couldn't really afford a proper computer, and now I finally been able to buy one, so I will be able to fix the sound problems. So going forward from here, this is a joint AMA between Blocktrade and ESYNC network. In saying that, though, Blocktrade does not own the people's SCE. Nothing like that has occurred. As I said, it's a decentralized network. There is no real specific owner. Everyone is working together as a community. Although I think that with me being on both Blocktrade and ESYNC, it really allows us to strategically work together very strongly. And the point of ESYNC and sort of the raison d'etre that I had for ESYNC was that it's about real world blockchain solutions, and I really believe in that too. So it's the 12th of the 12th, 2024 here. So it's a nice day for us, a nice date to kick off on this partnership, and yeah, we're gonna get going. Before this, I also want to say I really appreciate the support of Cryptics and the staff at Cryptics that have been supporting the ESYNC network so far. The various people there, all the way from the support, sorry, not support, but marketing and the development people, all the way up to the ownership of Cryptics. They've been very supportive of the project, and we hope that we are going to be very good custodians and stewards for the project going forward. So these are I'll share these because these are the things that I think that I can't just come in and change something overnight or rebuild a completely new use case or anything. And actually, there was nothing wrong with it in the first place. So this was as it was presented to me, and I very much believe in these two. Is that I believe that blockchains and in some way cryptocurrency are protocols rather than assets. This might be a controversial kind of way to look at it from someone that is heavily in the cryptocurrency industry. And what I mean by this, and before anyone takes what I say out of context, I mean in this sense is that something like ESYNC or eCredits that powers ESYNC, the important part is the protocol. Obviously, there are assets that are behind it. And in the case of, like, for example, Bitcoin, the network is the asset. The trust is the asset. I understand all of these things. So don't take what I say out of context. But I think that the protocol is what drives cryptocurrencies. And if you look back at the original Bitcoin white paper, which I always refer to, it really was talking about a protocol. It was a protocol for peer-to-peer exchange of value, and a world where it does not require, a trust in the sense of a traditional form, but the trust is generated through cryptography and mathematics, which I think is good. It's good because for as far as we know, math doesn't lie, and the system has built itself incredibly to this day. From less than $1, we're talking cents that bitcoins were worth. Now, obviously, we've well past the 100,000 US dollar mark, and also 100,000 euro mark for Bitcoin. So the protocol, it's proven itself to be able to generate such a situation, and also the trust in it. So yeah, in ESYNC, what we have is that we have these challenges that existed, when the ESYNC network was created, and these are still very much issues that we have today in scalability, costs, and ability to meet security requirements. And these are things that I've considered very carefully when we take on this ESYNC project, and they are the important things that we consider in the future use cases for this. So it really is, and people ask, oh, why did you get involved in ESYNC? And I think it's because this is very well set up in the first place. That the project was set up for reliability, transaction speed, and low transaction costs. And these are important that if we really want to use blockchains for their intended use, in the sense that, like, as I mentioned in the Bitcoin white paper, it was a peer-to-peer protocol for the transfer of value as such. So for it to be used in this way, of course, it has to be reliable. It has to have low transaction costs, and it has a high speed. Otherwise, it's no better than the existing financial systems that we have. What is interesting, though, is that, like, recently I noticed, for example, USDT that is minted on various exchanges, and I mean, sorry, not exchanges, various blockchains. For example, the USDT that's minted on the Tron blockchain. The gas fees are fluctuating significantly, and I can see recently that it's a very high cost for doing things nowadays on various blockchains, and that actually is a problem because it defeats the purpose of having a newer system, in my opinion. Of course, in our industry, on the crypto industry, there's a lot of different views on this. I also was interesting for me to bring this point up again, is that a burn of tokens was that happened in earlier this year in March, and that really significantly reduced the circulating supply and the total supply. So basically, we have a situation whereby the total supply has been reduced by more than 50 billion, and the circulating supply was effectively cut in half. I think this is an important point to going forward, though, is that it's been asked of me many times, so I'm gonna should we do a burn on something? My experience when it comes to projects for crypto is that burns are effective only if they burn tokens that are in circulation, if the point of a burn is to drive the price up. And what I mean by this is that when you have a total supply that has not yet been minted or put into circulation yet, no matter how much you burn the total supply, it doesn't change the immediate demand and supply dynamics. What it does do is it tries to drive FOMO, or fear of missing out, in the sense that like you might think, oh, there's reduced supply, so therefore whatever is out there is of more value. The thing about the one use case that crypto has proven itself as extremely good at time and time again has been speculation. So this is, to me, though, not rooted in real economics. And so we're going to be looking at, instead of purely just looking at things like burns and such situations, which are used, in my opinion, as potentially desperate measures in a lot of projects. Not saying that it did not help e-credits at the time to do so, but we want to look at how we create a demand and how we generate real value. I think it's interesting to see some of these numbers. They're from August, and the numbers are a little bit bigger than this at the moment. I stole these slides from previous presentation, but the numbers are there, and especially if you look at the newsletter numbers, it's 50,000 plus. And what's interesting is that we have an opportunity to bring these numbers together. I know the Telegram number here is out. It's about 1,500. The unofficial Telegram community is, I think, bigger than this. LinkedIn is also is about there. But basically what happens is, one of the opportunities for us is by linking this together with Blocktrade, we really have a much larger community in total. Blocktrade has, I think, another 80 or 90,000 newsletter subscribers. And so this is addresses the part of marketing which is often brought up to me. And we have these areas that are listed here. And I think what's interesting that were originally there is that having a integration with Blocktrade, the team, and the services which Blocktrade provides will really be able to supercharge some of these things by working closely together. And for those of you that follow Blocktrade, you know that we're coming together with some interesting solutions for what I would say is network fragmentation or project fragmentation. And what I mean by project fragmentation, it's having lots of competing projects in one ecosystem. So I think this is very interesting that we're going to be able to do is to reduce the fragmentation and bring the projects together, hopefully under one umbrella. And these numbers, I updated them earlier. These are correct numbers as of December 2024. We're having like an average block time of about 5 seconds, which is really, if you compare that to around about 10 minutes on Bitcoin. We've had a number of transactions, continues to go up, which shows that the network is growing. If 22 million blocks have been mined, we have around about 250,000 active wallet addresses. When we add that all together with the Blocktrade project, I mean, we start getting into really nice numbers there. And so this is something that would be quite interesting going forward. And And going back just to speak again about the ESYNC network, it's definitely, of course, it's a layer 1 blockchain. It also has the Ethereum virtual machine, so basically can power smart contracts and also all the similar use cases that EVM provides. It's also followed to be a proof of stake, which I think is a much better protocol. Recently, I spoke about Bitcoin, that one of the interesting things is as Bitcoin becomes more valuable, it drives more people to become part of the network, which is great, but actually it becomes less efficient at processing transactions, which is again the point of in the Bitcoin white paper. So it becomes less efficient because to maintain the block time, the difficulty increases, and so what happens is more and more computing power, and therefore electricity, heat, carbon emissions, everything are created to maintain. Of course, more people in there, the network becomes more secure. It becomes stronger, and the value of the token goes up. This one is for sure, and I understand that. But I think the proof of stake mechanism is a very good one for what we're trying to do here at ESYNC. And the real world use is something that is like super interesting, because that's what we're really talking about at Blocktrade. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stop this for sharing this for a moment, and I'm just going to get back into speaking a little bit about how and why and what we're looking at in the coordination or the cooperation between Blocktrade and ESYNC network. One of the things is that I've taken a lot of time to analyze the IP that was created and the use cases of the ESYNC network. And I think that these are very valid in the sense of loyalty as a loyalty program, e-activity, and the merchant integration. One of the things, though, that I think that we want to be looking at going forward, though, is how can the ESYNC network as such be like a form of data center or service provision for other types of applications besides the eCredit native token. And so we want to develop those features further, that we can utilize the blockchain for this purpose. And this is where Blocktrade, with its ambitions, and the larger group with its ambitions to become a financial institution, really can make good use of the ESYNC network and the layer 1 blockchain in that sense. So some of the things that I see going forward here are potentially to, within our native network, develop more in the sense of tokens that we can issue and also list. And these tokens, we can bring them to other markets. So in this case, going forward, one of the things that Blocktrade and FSR Group has an interest in looking at would be to look at how can tokens be issued, let's say in America, a US jurisdiction. And these could be various types of tokens, can be utility tokens, even securities under the correct framework. Same thing applies in Asia, for example, in like Malaysia and Singapore, where all cryptocurrencies are seen as securities and they're regulated by the Securities Commission. I think this is a really good potential. And what I wanted to say is that very likely as we go forward in 2025, we're really going to be focusing on this, and there will be some token launches. And what that does is that for the existing eCredits holders, it drives up value of the native token on the chain. So we are doing, I think, exciting things in Blocktrade and the FSR group, and these things can drive further use of the additional tokens, such as, and I'll speak about this. One of the key things that we want to release for 2025 in Blocktrade is a really strong affiliate program for Blocktrade exchange itself. And what I mean by this will be, I know there's a referral program already existing in Blocktrade, but really we're going to amp this up and take it up a notch in terms of affiliate. The reality is called affiliate marketing, whereby this is going to be detailed very soon in 2025. I've already started recruiting the team for this, and we're very, very excited about how we can work together with the ESYNC network and the ESYNC chain to develop this affiliate marketing. And when I said, and again, I want to clarify this, the affiliate marketing that I'm referring to is bringing more users to Blocktrade Exchange. This is not another type of affiliate marketing program or for other products. It's purely to bring more awareness and users to Blocktrade. Although we intend that we would look at issuing the token and utilizing the native network here for that purpose. So that is definitely a project that it's gonna happen in the coming few months, and we'll obviously release more information about it. I've definitely started to map this out and build the team to do this. And I think this is really exciting for the token holders and the users of ESYNC and eCredits, because this is something I think that a lot of the users know and understand. It gives an opportunity to build up both value in ESYNC and eCredits, and also the value in Blocktrade, of which many, I think, eCredits holders are also shareholders of Blocktrade, or somehow working together with Blocktrade. So this is the main thing that I see that is going to happen in a short period of time. And that's obviously besides the many things that we're going to be looking at, including the integration with the Blocktrade team in terms of development support, in terms of marketing, and actually using this as an opportunity to make an outreach to people beyond the existing community. We foresee that this is going to happen by also entering different markets. So, for example, for those who have been following Blocktrade, you would know that it is our intention to enter extra markets such as Asia and the US. And I think that is the key of driving value in the ESYNC network, because and as we enter new markets, these markets will also have to participate in the value that ESYNC network and eCredits can bring. And so they will create a demand for it. So I want to thank everyone for joining us here today. I wanted to, as I mentioned, I tried to make this a very short kind of presentation session, just to review all the points here that and make sure that I've got everything right. Apologies if I've got something wrong, but it's one of the things that I come to the project not to promise a whole bunch of things, or not to say that I'm some guru of blockchain or guru of cryptocurrency projects. I come mainly to tackle operational uses, operational situations, and bring use cases to the project. And I hope that the whole community will be able to support me on this, and that I will officially from here be able to interact with much more of you through the Telegram chats and also through other platforms. The other thing I wanted to ask everyone is to please tell people about the chat that we have on Telegram, so that we can more effectively speak to everyone. And importantly, that I can get more feedback from all of the community, so that I can make sure that whatever we're doing is really aligned with what the community wants. And this is really, as all decentralized projects, a project which is for the community, the people that invested in the project. And when I say invested, not just by money, but by time and being involved in it. And we hope that it's not just a matter of like I come in and make a whole bunch of promises, in an attempt to pump the token or any of these types of things, but rather everything should start from somewhere and a real world use case and building up from there. So again, thanks, and we'll start taking some questions here. And please put the questions into the chat, and yeah, I'll start answering those as we go through. So, okay. So the first question we have here is an anonymous user has asked, what happened to the early investors that invested in Blocktrade before the eCredits launch? I see you're making another fundraising round via shares. What's with those early investors and their investment now? Thanks. So this is really a question about Blocktrade, but I'll answer it. I've had an opportunity to answer many questions about Blocktrade in the past in dedicated Blocktrade AMAs. But the one thing that I don't quite understand is what happened. I think it's quite clear what happened. You purchased shares, and those shares again were not sold by me, but you purchased shares. You continue to hold those shares, and the point, as with any other investment, is that you purchase or get involved in a project hoping that there will be a better outcome into the future. So in this particular case, I'm working very hard. I've only been in the project here for 6 months, and taken a lot of energy, not all of it positive, from the network, from the community, and I've tried to shape that energy and direct it towards positive and constructive things. And I've taken a lot of opportunity to explain this. So I hope that what's important and the reason why I answer this question is that I hope that people take the time to read our FAQ, to listen to the AMAs, and to read what goes on in our community chats, because I'm here to lead a project from an operational, from a corporate standpoint. I'm not here to be a punching bag for things that happened in the past that were out of my control. So I want to state this now because I think it's really important going forward with the ESYNC community as well. Things that will happen are things that I think are best for the project, and I've taken this on, dedicated my time and my efforts, and I will dedicate much more of my time and my efforts to try and make something out of an existing project. And I'm not responsible for anything that may have been bad that happened in the past, of which I'm not sure there really was any such thing. But let's set some ground rules here that I will not be a punching bag for anyone. And I appreciate that if you could read the FAQs and the AMAs, you would know exactly what is happening. If it's a question of you don't have access to what shares you own or something along those lines, please feel free to contact our support or contact any of us that are available in our chats to talk about it. Next question is, what about merging BTEX and ECS? JJ from Estonia. This is an interesting question. To be fair, it's not as easy to merge a project as in perhaps a company or corporate sense, mainly because blockchains are immutable, meaning kind of once something is written, it's hard to change, right? That's the whole feature of a blockchain. So what happens here is that it's not something that we really thought about doing. I think what's better is to move forward with something. And we are obviously giving some solutions to BTEX holders. I'm sure many of you might own both BTEX and eCredits. So we look at solving the problems separately, not problems, but giving value to the holders separately. And in the case of BTEX, we're obviously looking at a particular solution there, and we'll see how things going forward. Although I think that the eCredits project or the ESYNC network is a very viable project and it's going forward. Otherwise, I would not have brought this in. And yeah, I think there will be some very exciting things going forward from here in terms of token issues, in terms of making the network grow so that the native token also has a good utility. Next question is from Nuno Galinha. When you plan to launch eCredits in a DEX or new exchanges? I still believe, I mean, especially now that I'm a owner of a centralized exchange, I still believe that centralized exchanges are superior to DEXs. Insofar as like launching in a DEX, I would say that this is not in any of my immediate plans. In other exchanges, I think definitely something that we're going to look at, especially as we generate more use cases. Although I don't believe in I would say potentially the corruption of the Web3 and the cryptocurrency community, whereby most of the things are driven by paying or corruption, paying a lot of listing fees, creating false volumes and things like this. I don't believe in this. I believe in growing something real and organically. So what I would like to do is by having this kind of cooperation, closer cooperation between Blocktrade and ESYNC, that what we can do is make the token much more attractive to other exchanges. And of course, I have good networks that we will make that. And then hopefully they'll want to list these tokens of their own accord. I know of 2 or 3 exchanges that I can, without using, I guess, making payments and things like this, we could get it listed on. And we'll just have to see how useful that is going to be for the predominantly European network of ESYNC, because getting on into an exchange that is operating in an area that doesn't make a lot of sense for the existing users or even the newer users that we're going on, it's not going to help. Next question again from Nuno. When will Sky2 be ready to accept crypto payments with eCredits on Blocktrade? This is a difficult question also again for me to answer because I'm not in charge of Sky2, although I am, we've talked about some cooperation there. Initially, Blocktrade had a cooperation and integration with Sky2. So this is something we're looking into. As those who follow the project know, I've also been in contact with the CEO of Sky2's Karl Heinz. I have spoken about various opportunities there, and we're continuing to look at that. As for the accepting of the crypto payments with eCredits on the Blocktrade and the cards, this is something that is probably 2025, sometime in 2025 thing that we look at. Our focus now is to create the operational efficiencies by having ESYNC and eCredits working together closely with Blocktrade and the Blocktrade team, creating the additional use cases by having the on and off ramps, real world tokenization and issues in there. Obviously, we do have a few projects already on ESYNC for tokenization, such as Rock Solid, and yeah, we'll see how we can make that more happen. Next, anonymous user, would a recording of this AMA be available? Yes, of course. As I mentioned earlier in this call, the recording will be available. We'll upload it to both the ESYNC network and the Blocktrade social media accounts. So don't worry about that. And really, this AMA is more about getting to know the community, putting my face out there, and making myself available to everyone to see that this is how we're gonna do going forward. Anonymous has mentioned unofficial Telegram groups, more than 4,000 members. That's fantastic to hear, and I hope that we can start to consolidate these groups so that it's more easy for us to communicate. Okay. Looking at the next more questions. Anonymous again asks, I want to understand, is e-credit ACTs like shares and e-credit like crypto money? I don't quite understand the question. I think that activities tokens is like a sort of like from what I was briefed on when I came onto the project, that activities are generated through mining from real world activities such as shopping or purchases. And so we're going to be looking at more how we can manage these e-activity integrations and the e-activity swaps in the coming quarter. In quarter one, it's one of the priority topics, but it's hard for me to definitively state your assertions here, like shares and like crypto money. I don't think that it works in that way. Sorry. Anonymous asks, do we have to swap because eCredit ACT won't be there in the future? We haven't made any decision along those lines, and it's not my point to come here and suddenly change how things are done. We'll be definitely reviewing all of these things and understanding, because what happens is that for the project to grow and move forward, we need to have a sensible tokenomics model, and we need to make sure that when we introduce people to our project and create use cases, that the people that come on board do not get themselves burned or damaged by joining our network. So we'll have we'll definitely be reviewing those, and I'm putting a dedicated team to just look at this at tokenomics and other factors, economics of this. Okay, next is so the securities for early investors will become shares and not security tokens. The company is planning to go on NASDAQ and those shares will trade there, right? Again, this is a question about Blocktrade. This is an ESYNC AMA. It's just a joint AMA there. But I'm assuming this is talking about Class B shares of Blocktrade, and Class B shares of Blocktrade will stay as shares. Yes. They are securities. The shares are securities, and they're registered to various investors' names, and they will remain that way. Again, questions about Blocktrade. Please, if you have a question about Blocktrade, to contact support, especially if they're support related. We're focusing on here on ESYNC going forward, and I really hope that the community respects my time and everyone's time that prepares for these things by understanding and reading FAQs and reading things, because I've spent the better part of 6 months re responding to questions and things that are just made very clear to people. So I can help if there's a question or there's an issue that needs to be answered at a high level, but I can't help laziness, sorry to speak in this way, but like I really hope that before thinking about asking a question that's already been answered maybe 1,000 times, that you consider that to respect the time of everyone involved, and look and read first. We used to use a term back in the day, and this again will show my age, but the term was RTFM. You can Google it, RTFM, and then you'll understand. Coincidentally, a good friend of mine wrote a book called PTFP. So we like these acronyms. So Anonymous asks, Blocktrade to issue more tokens, but what about BTEX and the people who invested in BTEX token from the beginning? What hopes can we have? This is a Blocktrade question again, and I just held the Blocktrade thing, so I'll answer these. I'll let you guys know shortly. Actually, I'll advertise it shortly that we have a Blocktrade AMA coming up as well, so I'll answer that later. Anonymous asks, are there new information about Sky2? Are there any partnerships? Will eCredit be the new coin for it? I don't own Sky2. Sorry, I can't speak for Sky2. Anonymous user asks, can we think of e-credits like the official coin of Blocktrade? I mean, like BNB is for Binance. This is something that we're evolving towards. Yes, something they're evolving towards, so that if everything works out the way we think it will, then we're going to have a situation where e-credits and ESYNC are more closely linked with Blocktrade, and the growth of Blocktrade will spur the development of this. Yes. Anonymous asks, I see that e-credits and tokens as XRP are both targeting tokenizing RWAs. Can you tell me why we should invest in creating e-credits over other coins? I don't believe in speculation. I believe in demand driving things. So but I also know that the market is very large, and I don't think there should be a mindset of thinking something is going to gain a massive monopoly and there's only going to be one player. There are thousands of banks all around the world. There are hundreds of brands of cars. There are many different brands of almost everything that we use every day. So I think that there's a space for everything in the market, and I don't see that ESYNC network is a direct competitor for XRP. So why you should invest is or not invest. Well, firstly, I'm not giving any financial advice. What I would think is that when you have a look at a project, though, it's always best to be involved and invested in things that you have a stake in, that you use. So just like I invest in food because I eat food, and when I get hungry, I eat food. So to me, this is the clearest investment that you can make. That's something that you need. So when we create those additional use cases for the ESYNC network, e-credits, and Blocktrade, then it may make sense that if you are participating in those, you can invest in such a thing, although it's not my focus to tell you what to do with your investment. Anonymous asks, the start of e-credits was 2 cents and the ATH was 20 cents. Do you think this is very much probable that we'll reach again a price between 0.2 cents and 20 cents, or even a new ATH? Believe in you and keep up the good work. Well, thanks for believing me. Again, I'm not going to make any speculation. I think that the most important thing is you look at the cap of e-credits. The cap really, the market cap, that is. So as we can drive usage and value, I treat economies in this sense like the token's value. So if we can get in a situation where what the network powers is like the GDP of a country, therefore the market cap reflects that. So if we're able to bring a lot of citizens and a lot of infrastructure to the ESYNC network, then I would see that the cap grows in proportion to the value that it provides. And I see that ESYNC right now is at an extremely low market cap. So it can really only go up from here, is what I see. Of course, this is not financial advice. I'm not telling you to pump the token or anything along those lines. I must be very careful about that. What I mean is that, it's coming to a level where we're taking a turn. We're doing things. We're bringing people on. So why should it keep going down? It should be going up. Okay, I'm just what will you focus on for near future? What are the first goals you have? As I mentioned, they'll be operational by making sure that we have a team that is integrated closely with Blocktrade and with me, so that we have a team working on this in that fashion. And that will be what I would like to do in the first quarter of 2025. And then from there, we want to really create projects on ESYNC network so that we can drive people to use the token, and therefore marketing will happen in of itself. I think this is very interesting if you think about that. For example, Tesla does not make advertising. So I see in the ESYNC group that many people talk about advertising, how we're going to do more marketing and things like this, but Tesla doesn't really do any advertising, yet it is the most successful EV company. This is a very clever thing, and I think we want to do more of it in this sense. So what it is that really we want to give use cases that you can share with your friends and your family and people that you know, and that you will become ambassadors and bring people to this project. And that's really what happened to a project like Tesla, whereby people bought Tesla cars. They wanted more charging infrastructure, so they lobbied for it. And the more charging infrastructure created an effect, like I say, positive feedback loop, whereby more people were then interested in buying electric cars because they're more practical. Question here is, are you planning to use the Bionexus company go public with Blocktrade? There's no definitive plan on this at the moment, and we can consider all options. We're speaking now with very high impact, very powerful advisors and capital markets specialists. Those of you who are close and strong in the team would know exactly what we're doing there with that, and we're open to all options, and we're happy to create shareholder value for all of the projects. Will there be possibility for crypto token staking at both Blocktrade and ESYNC? Staking is definitely one of the big potential things that we want to look at. Yes, for sure. Anonymous user asks, Blocktrade will issue more tokens, you said, but what will happen to the current BTEX token? When I say tokens, it's not generating tokens out of thin air. When I say tokens, it will be, as a financial institution, going forward, we may generate tokenized assets, real world assets. And so those are the types of tokens that we're talking about, not just generating tokens out of thin air. So it's not a situation of like creating a new token and replacing BTEX. Do you plan to make more of gamification on the platform, maybe in the way of Temu? We count on you to enter in cooperation with gaming providers, online casinos. We consider those areas booming. Yes, well, as I mentioned earlier, not necessarily exactly the same as Temu, but definitely we're going to be looking at the potential for an affiliate marketing program. That is for sure. And I think that use case is gonna really smash it. So again, I must state very clearly, the affiliate marketing program is for Blocktrade Exchange, not any other products or anything else. Purely the Blocktrade Exchange. Please do not take anything I say out of context. Please do not say Sam told us he's going to build this or he's going to build that. I make it very, very clear. It is for the development of the Blocktrade Exchange. I'm not going into competition with anyone. I'm not creating some new scheme or anything along those lines. Please do not take what I say out of context. I was asked, what about Sally? As I mentioned, Sally is no longer part of the ESYNC team, but she she has been supporting all the way, and she's handed over the reins for us to try and build something stronger out of the project. And I want to thank Sally and everyone else that was involved in the project up to date, including Cryptics, as I mentioned before. The ACT swap, at least for existing ACTs, must remain an option in eCredits. Otherwise, you will lose 90% of the community. It's not fair to all of us. Can you guarantee us that we can be calm? I'm not sure what guarantee you would like from me, but I think I've mentioned that I don't intend to make any drastic changes. But you see, I can make a guarantee and I can make you promises, and I can tell you fairy tales, or I can fix things. You have to make a choice. You either can you want me to tell you like everything's going to be fine, you're going to be super rich. Please don't take this out of context too, because I'm sure someone's going to take a clip of me saying, oh, you're going to be super rich, and post it all over the internet. Please don't do that. But do you want me to tell you the truth? Do you want me to fix things? Or do you want me to tell you like everything's going to be fine? I think everyone has to decide here to make a choice. And I would rather lose 90% of the community and have the real ones, the smart and realistic ones that are here to support and build this project. Then I'm not scared of losing 90% of the community. I've built massive communities before. I'll build them again. I'm here to really make something successful. If you don't like that and you don't like me, you don't want, fine. It's totally fine. But I'm here to make something happen. And so I'm not going to make any false or empty promises. But there's no reason for me to change something if it works. How do you think about engaging institutional investors that will invest in ESYNC? I think those will come as we develop very good use cases. FAQ says nothing about shares, so how can I them to get my money back? Obviously, you must have reading comprehension problems. Sorry, I have to tell this. I think you have reading comprehension problems because it's the first line. So please please take your time to read properly. Again, I'm not here to encourage and validate laziness. Sorry. The next one is Rafael Rudisuli. Do you think the partnership with Maya will get bigger, even pushed further, or how does um ESYNC is a network, it's a blockchain. It exists in and of itself. So our focus is on technology. Our focus is on use cases. In Blocktrade profile, when will I be able to see how many shares I have? This is a Blocktrade question. Please wait for Blocktrade AMA. What's the real market cap at the moment? Is the cap displayed on Blocktrade right? Yeah, it's the correct problem. Yes. Anonymous user says, I'm not going to answer these questions because unfortunately they're out of context. If there will be another fundraising option for Blocktrade shares Class B, we'll look at all different options for fundraising. We'll answer that in specific Blocktrade AMAs. As per investor FAQ, Blocktrade will no longer support BTX in the future. This is shocking, to be honest, assuming a lot of time, efforts, and investment money put into. How can we ensure this will not happen to ESYS in the future? If you read the entire FAQ, you would know that it's not a matter of not supporting BTX in the future. It's about creating something better. So in these cases, please do read the entire thing. And I think you'll get your answers there. Yes, please, we would love for you to fix things. I appreciate that you're so honest. I'm an honest person. I'm not here to tell lies or sugarcoat things. So yeah, I'm thank you for noticing that I'm honest, and I really want to bring honesty and real things to this project. And someone thanking me for doing a good job. Look, thank you. Thank all of you. I really appreciate, again, all the support and the time that you've taken to listen to all of this. I'm just going to share one more slide, which is actually just an invitation to the next AMA, and we'll answer some of these questions going forward from there in that. And that's here. So I'm gonna take some time just before Christmas for everybody to give the last event of the year for our ecosystem, which is an ALMA on the 19th of December 2024 at 6:30 p.m. CET, Central European Time. And we'll answer a lot of questions about Blocktrade and other things at that time. And hopefully, we're going to be closer towards something more roadmaps and things like that for ESYNC. So thank you all again. It's already been an hour on this, and I really appreciate everyone taking their time on it. And feel free to communicate with our community managers and advisors within the Telegram and those points of contact. And yeah, look forward to speaking to you soon. The final thing is asking if I have a high-level question, how can I contact you, Sam? Telegram, email. I'm usually always in the Telegram groups, but you can also send it to support, and the support will be able to get back to me as well. So in Telegram, you can post it at Telegram or any of those such things, and I'm more than happy to have a look at it. So thanks everyone again. Have a great evening and a good weekend ahead. And I will speak to you all soon. Thank you for being so welcoming to me, and take care. Bye, guys.